I have I wanted to make some comments about Paul McCartney as a songwriter and a performer. I do love the Beatles and I listen to them a lot. And I had some insights that I feel I've gained about Paul McCartney. I'd like to put them out there and then see what people have to say about them. So um, the first thing is it does strike me that he was a very competitive person when it comes to like songwriting, and that's really what I would expect from someone who had that much talent, right? You'd expect them to, always want to be performing at the top of their game and wanting to compete against themselves and better themselves. But also, we know he was competitive with John Lennon after the breakup, especially. So I find that to be just a really appealing quality to Paul. Um, Now, the first insight that I want to talk about is how it's pretty clear that one way that competitive nature was channeled was through um, constructing a lot of medleys, right? So it's almost like he's taking all these disparate songs, like parts of songs that he wrote and deciding I'm not going to finish these. I want to throw them together. And that's the challenge. It's to put them together in a way that the listener accepts them. Because if you listen to a lot of these medleys, thematically, some are cohesive, but some aren't. Like the pieces he throws together, they're like totally unrelated. Yet he does it in a way that works. He gets the listener to accept it, right? So here's part of the point here. Part of the challenge is to integrate them musically, right? So to musically integrate these disparate pieces, right? And a lot of that is done through the transitions. How do you structure the transitions from section to section, right? But the other thing is, integrating them thematically if you can, right? Like if you wrote them together as a cohesive piece. But if not, still making them work, even if they're not thematically related. And some examples would be like from Abbey Road, "You Never Give Me Your Money." That's one song technically, but it's like three or maybe even four put together. You know, um, "Golden Slumbers." So the sequencing of "Golden Slumbers" carry that way to the end. So those are like three songs that are continuous, that are sort of integrated, right? So it's like a medley. Um, uh, "Band on the Run," "Uncle Albert," and then even I actually personally like Venus and Mars. So the opening numbers, Venus and Mars, and then Rock Show. And then if you listen to Rock Show, the end of Rock Show is like a third song, right? So I think that those are brilliantly integrated. So that's the thing. I think that's one way that he sort of challenged himself, and it worked. He was extremely successful with that. Um, Another way I have sort of observed that he challenged himself was to write rock songs on subjects that don't seem rockish, right? So two obvious examples I have of that are "Birthday," right? So writing a birthday song that's just it is a great rock song. But that's a hard rock song. Um, and then on Venus and Mars, "Magneto and Titanium Man," like who would have thought of writing a rock song about uh, like comic book characters? But he does it, and it's actually a great song. To me, it's one of my three favorite songs on that album, Venus and Mars. So it's a very good rock song. So that's the second point. And the third thing that I've noticed that I like is I know McCartney really seems to understand song structure. I don't know how much of that came from George Martin, how much he taught them about song structure, but it seems clear to me McCartney's songs seem more structured than like John Lennon's. And uh, one technique that I've noticed he uses to enhance structure is doubling, right? So I actually didn't know this term doubling. I described actually on a video, I described the concept, and I had two or three people come back and say that's called doubling, right? So basically having two or more instruments play the same melody line simultaneously, right? So like in Birthday, actually, the bass and the guitar play the beginning there, right? And throughout the song. So to me, that adds like it lends a depth and a substance and the perception of a deeper, stronger structure to the song, which I like a lot, and McCartney does that a lot. Um, Another comment is that when I've noticed when McCartney plays live, often for me, um, one of the tests of the talent of or an individual performer or group is how they sound live. So, do they sound as good live as they do in the studio, or do they sound even better? Right? Like I've heard a lot of Fleetwood Mac songs where they actually sound better, like Over My Head. Right? I think their Midnight Special live version of Over My Head is actually better than the studio version. So with McCartney, what I've noticed is a lot of artists when they do something live, things fall apart when the vocalist does not maintain the melodic structure of the song, right? And now I don't mind if they change the melodic structure to try to vary it for a live performance. But what I'm referring, as long as they maintain that new structure throughout the song, things fall apart for me when they go freestyle, and it just if there's no clear melodic structure for the vocals, then to me it's not working. And I've noticed McCartney does that. Sometimes he will change the structure, but when he performs it live, he maintains and sustains that new structure throughout the song. So those are the points I wanted to make about McCartney that I've noticed that I appreciate. And if anyone has any reaction or comments, or if you're really a Beatles like expert or specialist, or music expert, and you have any comments on the insights I shared, I really would love to hear them. Thanks.